Hi, I'm Davis Ham with Loud Light. This week, the legislature passed a bill to allow strong beer in grocery stores, and you're going to need a drink when you find out how little was accomplished before the legislature went on break this week. On Monday, the Kansas House failed to override Governor Brownback's veto of Medicaid expansion by 3 votes. Several Republicans had switched their votes over the history of the bill. Representatives Patton and Waymaster switched to yes at the last moment, but 4 Republicans had switched to no. Just days later, it was announced that a major Kansas hospital, St. Francis in Topeka, Kansas, is considering closing its doors. With less than 3 months left in fiscal year 2017, the legislature reached an agreement to plug the budget gap for this year. It relies on short-term borrowing from the state's long-term investment fund. It will no longer delay payments into KPERS, the state's retirement fund. This rescission bill is headed to the governor's desk and should be signed any day now. We have no school funding formula, we have no budget for 2018, and we have no tax or revenue reform plan for next year. The Kansas legislature still hasn't come up with the school finance formula plan that would satisfy the Supreme Court ruling that the state is underfunding schools. The House recently presented a plan that would raise about $150 million a year in spending, but right now lawyers are looking into it, as many doubt that would be enough to satisfy the court ruling. Kansas is $500 million to $1 billion short in revenue for fiscal year 2018 starting in July. The inability to pass meaningful policies comes down to 2 factions at play. One is a large bipartisan moderate majority that is just shy of enough votes to override the governor. The other is a far-right minority that holds all leadership positions. This has led to a series of bizarre proposals that are generally wasting time as we tick down to going into overtime in a special session. The most recent bizarre proposal that has little political possibility behind it is a flat tax, a flat income tax that would raise taxes exclusively off the backs of the working poor. This took up a week or 2 of the Senate's time, and whenever it finally made it to the floor, it ultimately only received 3 votes, 2 of which were Senate leadership with Senate President Susan Wagle and Senate Majority Leader Jim Denning. This underscores the divide between leadership and the rest of the legislature. This Tuesday, April 11th, is the first congressional race in the era of President Trump. Make sure if you're in Congressional District 4 to get out and vote. On May 1st, the Kansas legislature comes back for what is just supposed to be a 2-week wrap-up session called the veto session. Right now, it seems like a near certainty that we're headed to a special session. Even Senate President Susan Wagle said she just hopes that it's not 117 days like in 2015 when we had the longest session in history. Not very optimistic. Over this break, I'm going to try to make a budget explainer video so that you can understand what's so complicated about the Kansas budget, where the money comes from, who's most burdened by our tax structure, and where the money goes, what it's paid out to. Thank you for liking and sharing these videos. Thank you for your donations that make this possible. If you have any suggestions or if you'd like me to explain anything better, please comment them on the Loud Light Facebook page. Until next time, thank you so much, Kansas.